So we all want to enjoy the relaxed summer vibe, but we also want to keep our kids' brains active and learning this summer. So use IXL's award-winning learning platform to build your child's confidence this summer. Choose one topic your kids are curious about and one in which they struggle. Over the summer, let your kids play the interactive games IXL uses to learn new facts and concepts without the pressure of the school year. Whether your child is tackling some new math skills or reading at a higher level, IXL meets them where they are and lets them move at their own pace. IXL instantly grades work and explains mistakes so you don't have to because our kids don't like being corrected. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Calm Parenting Podcast listeners get an exclusive 20% off an IXL membership when you sign up today at IXL.com/Kirk. Visit IXL.com/Kirk to get the most effective learning program at the best price. Family life is so much busier these days than it used to be. What if you had an assistant coach who could manage all the details for you? Well, that's what Skylight Calendar does. Skylight Calendar syncs seamlessly with all of your calendars, so you can relax knowing all the details of your family schedule are visually displayed in one place with different colors for each family member. That means less stress, no more worrying about forgetting something important. Import a month of your kid's sports schedule in a snap. Skylight's free mobile app updates instantly, keeping the whole family in the loop. Try it for 4 months. If you're not 100% thrilled, you can return it for a full refund, no questions asked. Families are better when they're working together. Right now, Skylight is offering our listeners $30 off their 15-inch calendars by going to myskylight.com/parenting. Go to myskylight.com/parenting for $30 off your 15-inch calendar. That's myskylight.com/parenting. So how many of you can relate to this mom? She said, I not only have to manage the emotional temperature of the home, but my own internal temperature fluctuations. So I took a chance and I tried the Cozy Earth bamboo sheets and pajamas. Total game changer for me. No more night sweats, much deeper sleep. I wake up feeling refreshed. We love hearing that because that's our experience with Cozy Earth. Incredibly breathable, heavenly soft, cooling, and great quality. Cozy Earth gives you a 10-year warranty and 100 nights of hassle-free returns on bedding. During the hot summer, stay cool all day and night with Cozy Earth temperature-regulating bamboo shorts. I love these shorts. Tees, PJs, sheets, and their new beach towels. Cozy Earth is made from viscose from bamboo, breathable, soft, and built for summer. So head to CozyEarth.com. Use my code CALM for an exclusive 20% off. CozyEarth.com. Use code CALM for 20% off. And please tell Cozy Earth the Calm Guy sent you.
It's so easy to lock horns with a demanding, strong willed child who barges into a room and declares what they are going to do without asking your permission. Does your child ever delay bedtime because they just have to complete a project, even though it's already way past bedtime? How do you avoid escalating power struggles without giving in? How can you get these kids who won't even follow simple directions to actually be more responsible? That is what we're going to discuss on today's episode of the Calm Parenting Podcast. So, welcome. This is Kirk Martin, also host of the PDA Parent Podcast. And you can find that and our special Christmas and July sale so you can finally stop these power struggles at celebratecalm.com. So, when strong-willed kids wake up, they often picture something in their brains, and these visuals are very powerful. See, now they've got a vision, a mission, and they want to carry that out. Now, that is going to serve them so well in life, is also going to cause endless power struggles with parents and teachers because their ideas are going to come into conflict with what you and teachers want them to do each day. So I want to take you through a few examples of how this can work. And just to be clear, we had a rule in our home that I was steadfast about. If Casey started demanding things of us, I would simply say, I don't do demanding. Just because your kids are strong willed doesn't mean you let them run all over you or act oblivious to the needs of others. So you always have that right. But here are some other options. So think about this. Do you have a child who gets an idea in their head and they won't let it go? Sometimes it's completing a project and they just have to complete it before bedtime. But it's already 15 minutes past bedtime and they've promised 12 times that they'll be done in just a couple, but it keeps dragging on and you're tired and you just want them to finally go to bed. They have a single minded focus to complete this project. And you can see it's going to take more than a couple more minutes. You're frustrated. Now there's tension because you have these competing demands and you're the authority figure. So this is frustrating. And so your tone becomes short and the power struggle is coming, right? Because you know what? You need to it. If you do not clean that up and get in bed, young, as soon as you hear yourself talking in those clipped tones, you just have to stop. Nothing ever good comes after you begin talking like that. So I like to give options. Number one, you can simply say no and put the project up. Use an even matter of fact tone. Don't talk a lot. Stay steadfast. Now, it will likely prompt a huge meltdown on their part, and that's okay. Just endure it. That's an option, and they'll learn, hey, when I say something, I mean it. And no, we're not extending your bedtime over this. That's an option. Number two, you could say with intensity, you know what? I love that you get a vision for doing these projects because they're so creative. And I know you really, really, really want to see it finished tonight. I've got an idea. Let's put it up now so no one can touch it and the dog can't knock it over. And tomorrow morning, I'll wake you up a few minutes early. I'll make your favorite breakfast while you get this done while your brain is fresh. Now, I like that option, and it will work sometimes. Sometimes it will not. And so, if I can give you perspective, there isn't always a good answer. Some nights are just going to be rough and ugly, and that's normal. And it didn't mean that you did something wrong. And if I'm being honest, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily doing something wrong. I know you could say, like, well, they're just being disobedient, they're not listening. You know what? They're being kids. These are kids who get very invested in their ideas and they want to hyper focus and get it done. And later in life, that is the very quality that will help them. Look, I'm recording this podcast. It's 9:52 at night. It's a little bit late to be doing this, but we have big plans. We have this big hike that we want to do tomorrow because we're actually going early because the path is supposedly closed because of snow, but we want to do it. And so I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Don't you can judge me if you want. I'm okay with that. But see, I'm hyper focusing tonight. I'm getting this done. So it's normal. So the other option is the old, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, look, you're the parent. You wield ultimate authority here. So you can grab that project, use a firm tone, and make them go to bed. But this isn't some competition to see who wins this power struggle because nobody wins a power struggle. So you say, look, I'm going to go get a snack and lay here on the floor while you finish your project. I really admire your persistence and your desire to complete things that you start. See, that's a great thing to say. And then you let them stay up and they're going to be tired in the morning and your night didn't go as planned. But I would expect your agenda to be constantly messed up throughout their childhood. Or you go and finish one of your 487 chores or projects while they finish theirs. You just give them a kiss on the head and say, hey, let me know when you're done. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Now, are you really excited? No. I just want you in bed so I can relax, right? And so you won't be crabby tomorrow. But this is the dance of parenthood and it's normal. And you're not a bad parent if you choose to read the moment and handle it this way. Because you know the typical way with a strong-willed child does the typical way just doesn't work with our strong-willed kids, right? And you may have to endure a spouse accusing you of coddling this child, letting him get away with things. But you really just used wisdom. And so your child is content and proud of what he did, and he's in bed an hour late, or let's be realistic, 2 hours late. But if you just choose the hardcore path, the meltdown could last 3 hours. So you get to choose, and it may be a different choice on different nights. So here's another common situation. I was talking to this family whose child geeks out on doing new things, right? To get the novelty, the dopamine rush. They prefer adult type activities. It's perfect because we're raising kids for the adult world, so don't miss that trait. And the child wanted to make coffee every morning. Well, that makes sense to me. Casey drank coffee from a young age. It actually calmed him down and helped him focus. So their child comes into the kitchen intent on making coffee. Now, you as the mom or dad have 13 good, logical, reasonable reasons that your son should not make coffee then. And all of your reasons are reasonable. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. That's what makes it so difficult with a strong-willed child because the things that work on your compliant kids backfire on this child. It's also true that sometimes we as parents get in the habit of reflexively saying no to our kids. And that's kind of ironic, given that our strong willed kids reflexively say no to things that you ask them to do. So here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to catch yourself before you shut down the vision. I want you to think for a couple seconds and then find a way to say yes to something they can do within your boundaries. It may not be exactly what your child is wanting or demanding, but I want you to find a way to say yes. In this situation, your child's brain is on fire. You can even see it in their eyes. They're single minded and focused. So here's a strange phrase to remember: give your child's brain a win. It's critical to create successes, get positive momentum, and feed that brain in healthy ways. I know this is hard because your kids don't come into the kitchen or greet you after work and say, Mother, Father, thank you for providing all of these opportunities for us that you never had. May I please make some coffee? I'd be ever so grateful if you would let me do this. That's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. They just head straight to the coffee maker and begin getting into stuff. And I can feel that viscerally right now because because I can feel like, "Oh, you're gonna make a mess. You're not gonna do it right. You're gonna mess up my coffee beans. And I'm gonna have to clean it all up." And so I get that initial that you're a grown adult. You can see it like it's in slow motion, so I understand. And inside you're like, "You have no idea how to use the coffee maker." But as usual, you impulsively start touching stuff and studying it, and it just bothers us, right? When you try to explain rationally why they can't make coffee this morning, well, now they're going to go into attorney mode and wear you down with arguments that are quite good. And then your tone's going to get sharper as they keep tinkering with it until it triggers a big fight. And then you're going to be tempted to respond with your own tone. I said no. Did you not hear me? And then you trail off into some useless lecture. But next time, I want you to use this process instead. Number one, check your own anxiety and control issues. Check your own triggers. Again, you're not being unreasonable at all. Just check your anxiety, your control issues, how you're feeling that night if you're irritated or that morning. Number two, say yes to the idea. Say yes to the idea and the concept first by affirming something positive. You know what? I think making coffee is a great idea. Now, do you really? No, because you know he's going to leave a big mess and you just don't want to have to deal with that this morning. You don't have time to get all this done and get your other kids ready. But you bite your tongue even as you're thinking inside. Great, you're motivated to make coffee, a grown up thing, but I can't even get you to put your dishes in the sink, take out the trash, or do one homework assignment. That is frustrating. But you make this shift in perspective because the other way only leads to power struggles and never really works. Look, if you could win the power struggles, I might be willing to say, go ahead and win it. But it's like you have the power struggle, but it still doesn't work. So you say, you know what? I actually think it's pretty cool and grown up that you know how to do this at your age. Number three, give your child some ownership within your boundaries. It's really powerful. So maybe you say, hey, why don't you become the barista of our home? You're giving your child some ownership of this task and asking him to assume a more adult like, more responsible position. See, this is what I'm really after. I don't want your kids to just do what you tell them to do all the time. That's fine. But then I'm setting them up for a life in which their job is to just go through life doing things that they're supposed to do. See, I wanted to raise a responsible child. I want more responsibility. See, you're actually asking your child to assume more responsibility. I know we all want our kids to learn to follow directions, but you know what is even more important? Teaching them to make decisions, to actually think, to take on more responsibility. And so one of the some of the feedback we've gotten from the PDA parent podcast is that parents aren't having to wait on their kids and be bossed around by them anymore. These PDA kids are capable of much more. Well, but aren't you just giving in this situation? No. You are the authority figure in the home. You hold all the power. I think you are simply exercising that power with wisdom, with humility, and with generosity. And you're taking the larger view here. I know it's hard as a parent. You're incredibly busy managing so many modern day demands that you barely have time to breathe. You're just trying to make it through the day without too many tears and fights. But we get in a rut and sometimes we miss the bigger picture. Does it really matter if your child makes a mess? No. Is it inconvenient? Yes. But I promise, if you look at it the right way, this little morning tradition can teach your child responsibility, provide an opportunity to bond together, and build your child's confidence. That's worth the mess to me. But let's take it a couple steps further and ask even more of your child.
So we were climbing a local mountain today and we got a text from our daughter-in-law. Kirk, do you mind if I take a couple Cure hydrating packets? And I was like, I got that entire variety pack for you. She was so happy. She loves the Cure Kids flavors and today went on a 50-mile bike ride. She said Cure is light and refreshing and tastes great without the artificial aftertaste. Plus, with my Cure packets, I don't have to stop for gas station electrolyte drinks. Cure is awesome because it's just coconut water, pink Himalayan sea salt, and a burst of real fruit. No added sugars or bad stuff. Just clean, light, great tasting hydration. I think your kids will love the Cure flavors, and you'll feel good giving them something healthy. More exciting news, you can now get Cure Hydration at your local Target or get 20% off at curehydration.com with code CALM. That's curehydration.com, code CALM. I bet your family is like ours. During summer, life gets so busy we don't always have time to grocery shop or cook. Thanks to HUNGRYROOT, we shop on our own schedule and make healthy home cooked meals in less than 10 minutes. HUNGRYROOT eliminates the indecision, those last minute runs to the store, or settling for expensive carryout, and replaces that with healthy, delicious meals that even your picky kids will love, and they'll even make it on their own. Tonight, we devoured the General Tso's chicken with green beans. Delicious meal, 8 minutes of prep time, no waste, simple cleanup, more time to spend outside. You're going to love HUNGRYROOT as much as we do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first order, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/calm and use code CALM. That's hungryroot.com/calm, code CALM to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Okay, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I bet you've fallen into this trap. We've had the same knives for decades, and they aren't sharp. So every single day when I'm cutting up a salad, pineapple, or chicken, it's frustrating. So I finally went to wayfair.com. I read the reviews. I ordered 2 very sharp, everyday knives for less than $20. I know it sounds dumb, but those knives are providing so much joy on a daily basis. They slice through everything. And now I kick myself for not doing this years ago. Don't live with kitchen or home regrets. What do you need to upgrade in your home? I bet you can do it for way less than you think at Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home and get your space ready for less. That's WAYFAR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Number 4, you can continue to challenge your child with even more responsibility. Hey, could you be in charge of the coffee every morning? So let's add a challenge. Hey, I've got an idea. Could you look up different recipes with healthy spices you could add to our coffee, like ginger or turmeric? See, instead of the immediate shutdown and ensuing power struggle, you're now engaging your child and giving them a challenge. You could even challenge your child to cook a meal for the family one day a week. Many of our kids are excellent, messy chefs. So instead of a long lecture about how your child always wants to do inconvenient things, you're actually expecting more of your child. Here's another tough idea you have to wrestle with. Your strong willed child probably won't be great at doing chores, but they will often step up and change the oil in the car, do landscaping or yard work, cook a meal every week. Good. See if this distinction makes sense. I'd rather raise a responsible child than an obedient child. See, an obedient child merely carries out instructions, while a responsible child must think, analyze different options, judge which option is best. Sometimes they have to risk failure. They have to make a decision and live with the consequences. They have to lead others. And I want to give you some hope. I was hiking with Casey the other day, and he just got offered a consulting job kind of on the side with this company with virtually no supervision, perfect for our kids, and a lot of freedom. Why? Because the general manager knows she can trust Casey, that he makes good decisions, that he's responsible. They don't have to worry about him. And it's cool to see the kid who didn't like school or chores or cleaning his room just being himself and being respected by other professionals. They would be shocked if they had seen him as a little kid. So instead of just complaining to your spouse, to your friends, to yourself that your child is disobedient, right, or doesn't follow your directions, instead you begin to change the narrative in your heart and inside your child's head and heart to this. Hey, I have a child who's responsible and capable of doing adult type jobs. And that's going to make my child wildly successful in the real world. See the difference? It changes from, well, he never listens to anything I say. She doesn't follow through on things. He doesn't do his chores. Why can't they ever do that? Instead, my narrative becomes, oh man, I give my child a challenge, and this child steps up and takes ownership of it. And now I don't even have to worry about it because they're very responsible when they're doing adult type projects. Otherwise, you're going to spend 18 years trying to get them to care about what you care about and try to be good at being a kid and good at doing schoolwork all the time. And then we crush their confidence. Instead, I look out to the future and say, oh man, this is going to serve you well in the real world. Number 5, this is going to be tough for you, as if everything isn't. All right, I know it's so hard, but know that your child in this situation is going to leave little droplets of coffee and cream and spill sugar and leave little wrappers on the counter, and he's not going to clean up the right way. And I can say that with pretty much 100% certainty. So, what's your response to this? It's one of two things. One, you could use an even matter of fact tone and say, hey, I love the job you're doing as barista. Here is one more responsibility or challenge. You need to clean up your mess, or you haven't really done your job. So, no more barista job and definitely no tip until you learn how to clean up. I think that's very reasonable. If you do it in an even matter of fact way, hopefully they'll just step up with it. What I don't like is a snotty lecture. You know what? I go out of my way to let you do this. And if you're not going to learn how to clean up, you're just not going to get to do coffee anymore. So, no snotty lectures, just very clear expectations. Now, here's another option I don't want you to feel guilty about doing. Some of your kids are horrible at cleaning up. You've tried 87 different ways. So, you put some music on, you smile, you savor your coffee while you're cleaning up next to your child, having a conversation about all the other responsible things they're doing. Right now, I know this is not how you pictured your child behaving because some of you grew up thinking, well, I'm just going to tell my kids what to do and they're going to do it. And then you had a strong willed child who has pushed all your buttons and caused you to grow so much. But this is a child you've been given. And watch what you just did here, which is cool. You took what was a certain power struggle, and nobody wins the power struggle, and you turned it into a bonding moment because you stepped back from your own anxiety, from your own control issues, and you paused for a moment, and you found a way to say yes to something. So, final step, Think of common situations in which you and your spouse act like Dr. No all the time. Begin to rethink those situations and ask, well, how can we be creative? How can we get to yes? How can we encourage our kids to use their gifts and become more responsible, all within our acceptable boundaries? I'm just asking you to make your boundaries a little wider and larger with these kids, not letting them do whatever they want. I keep my boundaries. I'm just not as rigid as I used to be. And watch your child's expression when you say, you know what? I usually say no to this, but I'm going to say yes today with these specific conditions. And you could even add, hey, I wonder if you could do this better than I can do it, because some kids love that challenge. By the way, back to that, what I just said, I'm going to say yes today with these specific conditions. See, that's perfectly fair. I'm saying yes, you've got an opportunity, but you don't get everything you want, and you've got to do it within these boundaries. I like that. Now, here's how another couple handled this similar situation. They said, we've always struggled with only having one option, the one we grew up with, which was do it or else. So they said, we try to listen to 15 minutes of your programs on our daily commute, and then we discuss one key concept or idea at night. What this has done for us is open up new options without us feeling guilty or like we're doing something wrong, without being flustered all the time. We're getting much better at reading the moment, trusting our instincts, and problem solving rather than butting heads with our very hard-headed daughter. See, I love that. Reading the moment is so important. So let's practice this in the next few days. I know it's not easy. I know I'm challenging most of your deeply held beliefs and assumptions about parenting. So I appreciate you wrestling with these other ideas, right? So other people are going to judge you and you'll judge yourself, but I won't, because I'm proud of you for having the courage to change. And I encourage you over the summer, dig into this, binge listen to the podcast. Go through the programs, let your kids listen to them, and then ask, hey, how can you step up? Put it in their court. Your kids love that. Take advantage. If you don't have the programs, Christmas in July sale, celebratecalm.com, because that's what makes these changes stick. If you need help financially or otherwise, email Casey at celebratecalm.com. Can I tell you something quickly? We were hiking the other day, and he said, Dad, if you could tell parents anything, like if you were more like bold, what would you say? And I said, sometime on a podcast, I just want to say, you know what? You've emailed us 100 times. You keep wondering, just get the programs, go through them. It will change your family. Why have you not done that? And I know people struggle financially. So then we say, hey, if you need help financially, email us. But that's, if we're being bold, I'd say, just do it, because we have 25 years of experience of people saying like, yeah, this is what changes things. So email Casey, CASEY at celebratecalm.com. He will happily help you. Okay. Love you all. Respect you so much for wrestling with us. Bye-bye.
Save on Karastan flooring plus 25% off select products and 50% off select baseboards during S&G Carpet & More Star Spangled Savings Event. Visit sgcarpet.com today.
S&G, more than carpet, where quality is affordable.
This July, declare independence from floors you're tired of looking at. Freedom from worn-out carpet, freedom from scratched floors, freedom from stains, scuffs, and the room you've been meaning to update for years. Freedom from saying, maybe next year. At S&G Carpet & More, we make it easy. Explore luxury vinyl plank, laminate, hardwood, carpet, and beautiful Karastan flooring designed for the way real families live. Visit one of our showrooms or schedule a free in-home appointment and we'll bring the samples directly to you. Then let S&G handle the heavy lifting. We'll move your furniture, provide professional installation, and finish the room with beautiful new baseboards. And with our no surprise guarantee, you'll know exactly what to expect every step of the way. During our Star Spangled Savings Event, save 25% on select products and 50% off select baseboards. Star Spangled Savings ends July 31st. See store for details. Visit sgcarpet.com or call 110 of carpet today.
S&G, more than carpet.